The coronavirus pandemic certainly doing a number on the U.S. economy, leaving working women especially behind in a phenomenon that's being called the She-cession. 65% of women think the pandemic's made things worse for them at work. More than half say they feel burned out, and a third say they've thought about quitting their job. All of that in a recent poll from CNBC and SurveyMonkey. Joining me now, Naomi Gleit, Facebook's Vice President of Social Impact and longest-serving employee, very cool, and H. Charity Hudley, one of the co-creators of the fundraiser for the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. Ladies, it is so wonderful to have you both here. Naomi, the COVID-19 pandemic is threatening to undo decades of progress for women. Tell us what you're seeing on Facebook. How are women using your platform to come together and to try to fight that?
Sure. So as you said, the COVID crisis is disproportionately impacting women. They are being forced to stay at home. They are considering leaving the workforce at a greater number. But at the same time, we're seeing women use our products to lead the response to COVID. We're seeing them create twice as many fundraisers on Facebook and Instagram, and Ann will talk more about that. We're seeing them create almost 3 times as many groups with 4 times as many members. We're seeing them be more tech savvy and transitioning their businesses from offline to online. These are just some of the amazing things women are doing on Facebook.
So, Ann, we know that you are one of those women. You've used Facebook fundraisers to raise more than $250,000. It's really impressive for the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law and their work with the Black Lives Matter movement. Tell us more about that charity work that you're doing and the challenges that you personally have faced trying to raise money, trying to support causes close to your heart in the middle of COVID.
Yes. So when the pandemic started and the protests, we wanted to do something that made sense, but it was so dangerous to go out ourselves, given our own health conditions, that we decided, look, let's turn to Facebook and at least try to reach out to friends and family that we know, explain the situations, why we thought the Lawyers Committee's work is so vital to civil rights in this moment. So my friend Angela Chen reached out, and I thought about turning to a classmate of ours, Kristen Clark, who was doing amazing work and really being the voice of civil rights in our time. We thought we'd raise about $5,000, but we were really committed to explaining why the work that the Lawyers Committee was doing is so important. And the next thing we knew, the fundraiser took off. 5,000 turned into 10,000 quickly, and it kept going until we got to $250,000. So.
That is awesome. And you mentioned some of the health challenges, some of the challenges that you were facing. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I know you have a personal story to share here for why Facebook was so helpful to you, why you couldn't go out there with COVID.
Yes. So when the fundraiser started, I was still on chemotherapy for lung cancer treatment. So I am on specific isolation. I can go outside a little bit for some exercise, but I really can't go anywhere. And it was just so frustrating to see the hard work that people were doing, particularly Black people in my community, organizing protests, organizing fundraisers. But I thought this is something that I can do from home that's safe. And so that really made a difference in terms of what I was able to do and how I was able to participate in the strong work that's going on right now.
Naomi, racial justice, gender equality, these issues we're talking about here are long-term issues that will likely be with us beyond this pandemic. How does Facebook see itself continuing to play a role once people are back out in the world, able to work together and come together face to face, and maybe are a little less reliant on technology than we all are right now? I mean, most of us can't get through the day without our computers and our Wi-Fi.
One of the most important things that we can do at Facebook is just continue to build these tools for people like Ann. Ann, your story is amazing. I'm so proud of what you've done, and it makes me happy that we at Facebook have built some of the tools, the fundraiser tool, the donate button, the raising money during a Instagram live room. These are the tools that people like Ann are using. The other thing I would say is that we've really focused on building shops. It's an easy way for stores and business owners to create an online presence. And I think that will still be relevant, both once offline stores are also getting the foot traffic that they're used to.
And how do you hope your work will expand once it is safe to come together and fight for causes in person? I imagine, I don't mean to put words into your mouth, but I imagine you're looking forward to that day when you can do this outside of the house.
I absolutely am. And one of the things that we saw were women and people from around the world were reaching out. They were asking us questions. They wanted to know more about what was going on. So I started doing videos and posting information. And I think I'm hoping that that will continue when we are in person, getting together and talking about these really big issues and how we can take part, no matter how big or small. I mean, we had donations that were coming in at $5, and then we had thousands and thousands of dollars. And so engaging a global community is something that you can particularly do in online space effectively. And so we want to take as much of that as we can into real space in the future.
Naomi, misinformation on all sorts of social media platforms has really been a problem during the election, during the vaccine rollout. How is Facebook working to not only provide women with a platform, but also to try to protect them from misinformation and some of these other issues that people have run into on social media?
The most important thing is that we remove any misinformation that has the potential to lead to real world harm. And that also, in the context of COVID vaccines, applies to widely debunked hoaxes. These are claims that we work with health authorities and other local governments to identify and then remove. Everything else is eligible to be fact checked. We have 180 fact checkers around the world, and any content that is labeled false will be downranked, and we apply a warning label.
Naomi, Anne, I can't thank you both enough for being here. It has been a challenging time for women, but it is so inspiring to see how women have joined together, whether it's on Facebook. However, we've managed to come together, even if we can't be together in person, to get through this pandemic. Really an honor to have you both here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.